I feel pretty good about it. Oh, nice. Live now. Indeed. Paid project, all the above. That's usually what it is with George, I feel like. Nothing from James. Maybe you don't have your own audio added in Hangouts? And game show, because you added my audio, but you never added yourself, I don't think. You hit so under game show, you have to make sure you hit that center button again to make the shot go live if you add something, I think.
You could be correct, sir. I hit it now. We should be good. It should be picking up my voice. Yeah, we just don't have the fancy setup that George has with the multiple monitors.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, we're doing the hobo setup over here. I mean, I got the hair of a homeless man. I have to have a setup of a homeless man. That's just how it works. All right. Yes, Kat, thank you for hearing me. Someone jumping on Discord?
Yo, man, it's Jack. What's up, guys?
What up, Jack?
Hey, how you been, man?
We're doing good. You know you're live on YouTube, right?
Yeah. I'm on the YouTube, too. I see it.
Fantastic. So we finally got it working.
Nice.
I was actually logging in because at first I know James's wasn't working on the voice. So I was going to log in and make sure you guys knew, but then y'all figured it out.
Yeah, it'll take us a while. Like, I mean, would it be like an hour late? But we got it going. Half hour late. We still got it going. Now, if I can just hear Chris. Yeah, I don't hear Chris anymore. Damn it.
Don't hear me.
Oh, now I hear you. Cool. So, Chris, I know the first thing we did want to talk about is the tournament coming up soon in June. And you played a new mission with Connor. So tell me how it was playing those elves.
I have kind of a mixed bag of feelings on it because I feel like the mission played fairly well. But I also think Connor played against my army, not playing against Tyranids regularly. My army completely wrong.
Oh, that's too...
Wrecking him, like, unapologetically.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, if you're not used to a certain army and you're used to kind of playing certain people or certain styles, those new opponents can catch you off guard, that's for sure. So, but how was the mission?
Ended up going after the Hive Tyrant and Malanthrope instead of the Tyrannifexes, and I mean, he killed what he went after, but the Tyrannifexes then proceeded to just murk all of his stuff.
So what about the mission, though, since you're kind of the main designer behind these missions and got to playtest every single one of them? How you feeling?
About the missions, honestly, I think the kill point one fair to both Horde and Elite armies because you are rewarded for killing stuff and killing more. So, if you go more MSU, you open yourself up to get really hosed on that mission. Then beyond that, just in general, like, tertiary seemed to work fairly well. I mean, for that mission, we had Headhunter for killing characters. Points equals 1 point for a tertiary. As far as tabling your opponent, there is also one that you can only start scoring on turn 2, where essentially you have a point for having at least 2 units in your deployment zone and no units in your deployment zone.
So compared to the ITC
And fairly
missions,
straightforward.
compared to the ITC missions, though, would you feel that they are still very balanced? Because I mean, nothing gets play tested like ITC missions do. Like those championship missions, I mean, they're playing all over every weekend, multiple times a weekend, and you're really the only one that's gotten to play test them. I mean, besides Connor and George. So I mean, do you feel that it has the same core strength that other people can expect at a good balanced event? Or is there kind of some wackiness to our missions?
We had, so the original packet, had 6 missions instead of 3. I think 1 or 2 of them had a little bit more of a wacky element, but we did not include those in the first round. We kept some of the purest, kind of more like root, basic tournament competitive and structure to the missions. It's very much about controlling objectives in some cases and just really playing your tertiaries. Even like the first, barring one game with George, fairly close in the score. I was fairly close in the score the whole game up until I took a decisive lead. Like, I think the thing that I wish I could play test more is against more gunline heavy armies.
Yeah.
To really crack out his Tau. And I think on Monday we're probably going to do that game where he does robots and the knights and the las cannons against my army.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been working on the mission packet so that it's all nice and pretty. We have some really good news. Unfortunately, George isn't here to announce the news, but we have partnered with Battleground Games in the Virginia, Richmond area, and they're going to be sponsoring our prize support. Plus, we're going to be throwing our own prize support as far as trophies and things. So it's going to be an awesome event. I mean, we're trying to make this a regular thing. We have 3 planned this year, and for this first one, we're just trying to do it right. I know we probably have some mess-ups happening since the whole team's not going to be there, but we're doing our best to make this the best event in Virginia, or at least Richmond, Virginia.
Also, just cool fun fact for those that are from the area or have left that game store since it traded hands. But that is the old home for Frontlines Gaming. That was before they changed hands.
Frontline Gaming? Do you mean Spiky Bits?
That's right. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Even though we have zero affiliation with any of them, we're all just about growing the hobby, and it's just a store that wants to kind of reach out and build a big community out in the area. So they're going to help localize that area, and then we're still going to reach out to the masses, like our fans in New Zealand and Netherlands and everywhere else.
Brazil, and apparently
Yeah.
we have a surprising international following.
Yeah. Hopefully our events get big enough where it's worth the travels to come visit us and get some tournaments in.
We've already had offer, or George's already had an offer to come film some stuff out in Scotland.
Yeah. Go visit the Loch Ness Monster. So speaking of international things, is all of our giveaways so far have been sent in all these different states, and we have a new or not states, but countries all over the world and different continents. And we have a new one, our biggest one yet, thanks to Kat. She has painted a beautiful Lord of Change, and that's the current giveaway going on right now. It goes for 30 days, and we have hundreds of entries right now, and just one lucky winner. I mean, you have 7 ways to enter. There's no cost of any way. What's really surprising, though, is we have more social media hits on like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, compared to actual individuals entering. Like, it's insane. I don't know if people think that if they click on this one, they might miss out on a future one because they don't play this army. This is beautifully painted. I mean, this is like a $200+ painted model that you can keep and put on your shelf as a display piece, play in your army, or maybe cash in on something that will actually fit you better. Maybe you don't even play tabletop, but just love watching tabletop. This might get you a way to get into the tabletop game. Maybe get a starter kit or something. But we like partnering with local hobbyists or even international hobbyists for these giveaways so that we can spread their word too. And Kat is awesome. You're blushing. Kat, you don't need a blush. You should be proud of that. You do amazing work, and we're hoping that someone that gets it doesn't sell it and cherishes it and shows it in every game they play.
No kidding, man. I mean, that is one of my favorite models, and that is just...
Yeah, I've had the honor to paint that model. Actually, George's Lord of Change, and it is a fun model to paint. The possibilities of colors are just endless, especially now with the color changing paint from Green Stuff World. I'm pretty sure if I got another chance to do that model, I'd probably do some crazy stuff with it.
I remember using like 16+ different colors on the staff.
Yeah, I think I used over 64 colors for that model. So, how's Shadespire been going for you? What I call nerd stuff. If it's not 40k, it's nerd stuff. So, tell me about this Shadespire.
So, I'll admit I was kind of reluctant to, delve into it a little bit first. But I like the Skaven models, and the way they do the cards, where like you have to buy other armies basically to get decks of cards. Which kind of frustrating, but
oh, so there's like cards for other armies and other armies packs.
Every army has like universal cards that every army can use, as well as like their own faction-specific cards.
Oh, that's Buster. That's like some Pokemon stuff. Got to collect them all.
And I mean, like to run the optimized army that I want to run, I have to buy 2 more expansion armies and the core set. Like $120. But like that's all the cards too that I would need.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good bait and switch.
I'm not about it. I see the trap. Yeah, I know it's a trap. Like, oh, you just gotta buy 1 box that has the army in it. Oh, you can buy the core set so you get the board so you can have other people play with you. No, I get it. I know how it works. I'd rather just play 40k and get the rules changed on me every other week and have new armies introduced, new rules introduced, and have no idea what I'm doing. I prefer that.
I mean, honestly, man, I largely agree with you. Like, given the option, I want to play 40k, but for a game with more balance, I'm looking for something that maybe is a little quicker.
Yeah, balance is a huge thing. Man, the game gets pretty ridiculous when you try to find the little keyholes and exploits and chase the current meta. It gets a little wild, but what I do love about current GW is the fact that they are changing all these rules so rapidly, and more events are having hobby type scores, or at least having a best painted award, so that people chase something different. And if you're chasing those other things, you don't find yourself getting frustrated with the meta change, and you get very excited with how versatile your army can be, and you play with different units that actually interact with other units better. Like pre-meta or pre-beta to after beta, I just went to 2 events last weekend, and I just tweaked my list based off points. but it wasn't changed based off of what the beta rules were. I mean, my army was unaffected that I played at Adepticon. So I just basically changed some units that I preferred to play with and let it go. And it was fun. I mean, I finished 6th and 5th at one event and the other event, but I still got best painted at both events. And that's what's cool, is I was able to chase the hobby and still get rewarded and had good games.
You're like all about blood for the blood god on every front, though. You're like, my army's gonna look amazing, and I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, no, I've gone on to that rant privately on how I feel about the game. Like, I want to be the best possible player. I want the best looking army. So when I beat you because my army looks better and I'm more tactical, I can just tell you that I'm better at the hobby than you and just rub it in your face. And I just want you to just quit and go play some nerd shit like Shadespire. Like, that's what I want. Like, I want tournaments to just have a last place award and a first place award. So I can get the first place and just rub the last place first and be like, oh, here's your game that I gave you because I whooped your ass. No, I'm just playing. I'm not really that crazy. But it would be funny.
No, James is a good guy.
AOS, dude. I love the AOS models, but I still, like, I just can't fit any other game in my life. I had to throw away my chess set because 40k took its place. I had to throw away all my playing cards. Those are gone. Uno, gone. Connect 4, had to get rid of.
James, I don't really hear you right now. I don't know why.
You don't hear me? You should hear me.
But besides that, yeah, I can hear you now.
Cool.
But on the like beta rules and like changing constantly. What up, Common Demon? Cat, I saw Death got an upgrade, or what is it? They have a faction focus for the new edition of Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar yet, but it seems like it's the kind of thing that 40k meta, at least to some degree, especially now with the inclusion of Mortal Wounds and all that.
I think the way I've been explained Age of Sigmar is it's a dumbed down version of 40k that dies much quicker, goes a little quicker, and that there could be depth if you're extremely tactical, but everyone else like has this like higher starting platform because it's just so dumbed down. That's what I've been told from people who've played both games. So I prefer the superior game, 40k.
Indeed. I mean, I've been enjoying running my spammy list. And work.
Yeah, you like big monsters. Big monsters are fun. I mean, that's what's cool about 40k, is these big monsters work. I mean, they might work in Age of Sigmar too, I don't know. But I like seeing some big monsters in the field. I just wish the Bloodthirster would get some love. I got multiple of them I would like to run.
Yeah, I mean, they just die a little too easily.
Oh, definitely. So, Chris, how do you feel about these Harlequins coming out? Their rules have slowly been leaking out by GW.
I mean, I haven't seen, I don't think necessarily all of the leaks, but based off what I've seen, I mean, there's some cool stuff. I forgot, like, there's a strategy where you can, like, double shoot a pistol off of a character, which can be pretty vicious.
The nastiest thing I've seen was that they can get out of transports, get into combat and stuff, and they can use the stratagem. If they were going to consolidate, they can actually get back into their transport.
Gross. I know that there's one of the, what is it, School of Dance, whatever, of Harlequins actually has like a lot of really nasty vehicle rules, to the point that even like if a vehicle explodes, you can just have stuff get out and stuff like that.
Yeah, with the portal, you can. It's like the same as the Necrons one with the Tomb Blades. You blow it up, you still get your unit out. Yeah, that's pretty standard. I just think the vehicle one's going to be pretty nasty. You're going to see that in multiple Eldar lists. Just bringing that detachment just to roll around in that vehicle and pop out, pop back in. It's going to be gross. That was some Dark Eldar to get to stop your stratagems and to get new stratagems. It's just going to be gross, little soupy combination of mixed detachments.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, what I'm actually more intrigued by is all the night leaks that are unofficial, because that just seems a little crazy. These point drops, you're going to be able to fit 3 knights in like a 1750 list. You're going to be able to fit all the small knights into multiple detachments to farm CP for knights. I mean, it just sounds a little crazy.
Honestly, 100%. Like all the leaks I've seen for knights, or the unofficial leaks, worrisome, because like I don't want them to have like that big of a swing on the meta, but I also don't want to be the person, you know, crying wolf.
Oh, they're definitely gonna, dude. If these leaks are true, which the sources are pretty credible, I definitely feel it's going to be one of the big changes that we're going to feel as a whole, because so many armies have access to a couple knights. So just saying, hey, I'm going to take a detachment of 3 knights and throw some guard in there and throw in a couple shield captains, we're going to have a great time, and it's just going to be awful for everybody else. Like, I think the Necron Pylon is going to be king for local metas. Like, I think these knight players are going to be pulling out their toys, because I know so many people that have knights that just don't play them because they don't work right now. But with this book coming out, they are going to start working right, and you're going to see a lot of armies with them, and then you're going to see these Necron players with their pylons being like, no, you keep your knights on your shelves.
I mean, I know more than a few Necron players with a pylon or two.
Oh man, every Necron player I know only just dreams of pylons at night.
Yeah, and what was it? There was something about I don't know if you saw that rumor as well. I know that would make George happy.
I didn't hear you. Kind of broke up on me. Are you there, Chris? See your face.
Yep.
I think we're having a little connection issue.
I have your audio cutting out on my end for some reason.
Yeah, I'm having the same thing happening. Not sure what our technical difficulties are. It could possibly be the CPU usage. We are at... it's actually not too bad. Our CPU usage right now.
Well, I can hear it right now.
Cool, cool.
I don't know if last thing I remember hearing was when I was saying probably getting some kind of night based off some of the rumors.
Night-based what? All I heard was night-based.
Or some kind of rumor.
He said that the Space Wolves are going to be getting a night because of some of the rumors.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. I don't know what my problem is of my connection on this end.
I don't know. He's breaking up on mine. I heard him the first time, not the second.
Oh. So maybe it's on his end.
Likely.
Hey, it's all right. We're just making this happen. I mean, we're trying to stay consistent with being every Thursday night. At least one of us or two of us. Like I said, George is the captain of this ship. He has the better equipment to host this type of interaction. But at least we're doing something, right? So, what are you guys excited about right now? I know Kat's really excited about AOS. Kat, I mean, what is it that brings you to AOS over 40k? Is it the fantasy aspect over the sci-fi? Is it the story of like crazy magic and lore over just grim dark murder? And Chris, do you feel that with your Shadespire, are you going to eventually get into AOS? Maybe get some dinosaurs to go along with your bugs?
Hope not. I don't really need more expanding because I know that with the Gene Stealer Codex coming out eventually, I'm gonna have to expand that at some point. Even though I feel like I've made some good expansions to it. There's like looming expenses on the horizon where I'm like, Shade Spiral cost me like no more than $200.
Yeah, I guess it's one way to look at it.
See, Cat's already like calling it. Cat's like, yeah, you'll play Age of Sigmar. I mean, I already have some death models that I was gonna run as Siege Demon Princes, Deathbringer Archive, whatever they're called. They're real cool models.
Yeah, Nagash is a pretty sweet model. I remember before I ever played any tabletop game, my buddy Matt was trying to get me into this, and we needed some extra paints to finish painting his army because he wanted me to paint it, and that's what I do. Is I'm an artist. So we went to the local GW store, and I saw a Nagash model there that was like all converted, where he was like passing through a wall, and it was beautiful. And I was pretty like stoked on that, but my buddy had no idea about Age of Sigmar. It was still brand new at the time, and they were saying how Fantasy just died, and Age of Sigmar doesn't even have points, so it wasn't even like a thought in my head. Like I wouldn't have anyone to play with. But now that like 40k has consumed me, and besides painting, I can't even imagine another game. But Nagash is a beautiful model. So are there?
I mean, it's brought me a lot of comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah, man. Even just being on forums and stuff like that, my downtime, like, chats and stuff like that, it just keeps your mind busy, if nothing else.
That's funny. So, man, without George here, it's like, what are we going to talk about? I mean, there's not a whole lot new in 40k as far as me and you. I mean, none of us play Harlequins. We don't even play Knights. We know it's going to be a meta changer, but I'm not too worried with having a pylon in my local meta. I know I'll see them a little bit, but I can handle 1 or 2 Knights. It's just when it gets like 3 or 4, I have a little trouble.
That's a good point. Kat touches on, the London tournament.
Oh.
With the amazing terrain.
Man, there's actually
so
like
honorably.
Lots of comments that could be made on that London tournament, and I don't know how to make those comments publicly. Like, I feel 2 different ways about it. Like, when you know you're going to throw a really large event and you want to put it at a high standard, you put the work into it. Like, we're trying our best to make this little RTT, have like 30 people there, and do the best we possibly can as far as price support, venue, how the tables will look, game mats. Like, we've have it all pretty much figured out. But these guys, they have over 400 players, and 10 days prior, they try to build terrain for 200 tables. It just sounded a little intense. Like,
I was going to say, that's honestly not prepared.
Yeah, that's just not prepared. So, like, you would love to give someone an excuse of, like, oh, they grew so much bigger, and they couldn't make the terrain, and it was still functionable, and it was scarce just like other big events. Like, I get it. But when you just look at the sheer numbers, it's like you just didn't give yourself enough time to, like, prepare for that. And when that's the issue, it's like, man, you got to blame the organizers at that point. And I don't know their side of the story. With their apology that they put out, it kind of seemed like excuses more than an apology. And I like it when people own up to it, because then you're like, hey, I understand you owned up to it, like, mistakes happen, and you just make a better event. Frontline Gaming guys with LVO, that one year they didn't have water, they said it was their fault, blah, blah, blah. Next year they didn't have that problem. So I think they handled that right. The London guys, maybe not so much. I heard a lot of complaints about space, because they were like basically in hallways, so like getting around tables and stuff was really difficult. That's a venue issue. Like, if you're not planning to have that many people, or you sign contracts with venues, there's not much you can do about it. You just find a better venue the next year. I know Adepticon this year, it was so packed that you couldn't find parking. And I mean, you would get there in the morning and drive around the building and have to park on the street of a major convention hall. So it's kind of crazy, but sometimes you outgrow your venue, and I don't think they're prepared for 8th edition European-styled grand tournaments. so they'll get that fixed. As far as the cheating, people cheat. I mean, I hate to say it, but tournaments are the epitome, like the pinnacle of this hobby. Like, you get the most out of it as far as getting out of the house, being with friends, like-minded individuals. Even if you don't know anybody, you make friends. Sometimes you only see these friends at these events. I know that's how it is for me. I've made so many different friends at tournaments that I don't see him outside normal life. I only see him at tournaments. They're like my tournament friends, and we get drunk together, absolutely smashed. And that's what I enjoy the most about these events, is just like, it's kind of like the boys' night out, even though it's not like boys only. Just that seems to be the people, the hobby.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely.
So I absolutely love tournaments, but there are cheaters, and it just happens. If you can catch someone cheating, you call over a TO, explain the situation. I mean, at Adepticon this year, caught someone in their list, and I was like, "This doesn't seem right." I asked them a question right away, and they explained it to me, and I just kind of went with it. But it was like in the back of my mind, just itching. So we kept playing, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And then on my way to the bathroom, I have to go by the judges' table. So I had to say, hey, I have a question for you. And they're like, yeah, that's not how it works. So me and the judges came back to the table, and I was like, hey, I hate to do this, but it was just bugging me. So I asked the question, and the judge kind of explained the situation to him. And, yeah, they had an illegal list. And we let them play as if their rules were right. And me and Chris still managed to pull out a victory while our partners didn't. So even with people cheating, you could still win. But yeah, it's one of those things where it happens. Just be good sports about it. It's a game. We're playing with toy soldiers. I mean, that's all it is. Like, for me, it's an excuse to get out and, like, party. So if I catch someone cheating and I lose, it's like, oh, it's just because they cheated. It kind of takes away the pain of the loss. And if I win, it's even that much better. So that's just, like, how I view it. But when it's on, like, stream and top table, and it's for like a massive prize support, which actually equates to dollars, you need to have a TO responsible for this. I'm big on the TO can solve most problems. Like slow playing, games not finishing. If a TO's on top of it, they can make it happen. So when you're like have a live broadcasted game and it's representing your event, you need to have a TO right there. And that call out the cheats the day after, or that night of, looking back at the recording and then call that person out. That ain't cool. You catch it right then and there. You stop them from doing it. If they continue to keep doing it after multiple warnings, then you issue those bans. But when you go to the whole point of waiting a day after or the night of, after the game has already stopped playing, and then just blast somebody on the internet, that's almost just a slap in your own face. Like, man, you shouldn't do that. Like, that's bad. That's like diminishing character, even though they did cheat. Like, you don't know their side of it. Maybe they just have mistakes. I mean, I've played some intense games, gotten some rules wrong. Like Diabolical Strength, I used to get that rule wrong all the time. It is +1 attack, +2 strength to a single model, not a unit. I did it to a whole unit of Berserkers one time. That ain't cool. Like, that just makes Berserkers way too strong. I've also done it where when I was first learning the edition, when you get into combat, you're allowed to pile in and consolidate to the nearest enemy visible model. Well, I used to break coherency all the time and just go and just start stretching into models. That's not okay. But you learn the rules and then you fix it. And at these tournaments, like some of the top players, they know their rules. Some accidentally squeak up there. Because it is a dice game and matchups are huge. I know for me, I can win an event easily if I get the right matchups. If I don't get the right matchups, I know I lose before the game begins. Just how sometimes 40k can be. Yeah.
Speaking of
Tio dropped the ball.
Wrong and whatnot. I actually, against George, played something a little wrong 2 games in a row. Old One Eye, his attacks, I was running them as auto-hitting extra attacks. Granted, they were hitting on 2s, so, probably I was getting them anyway. But, nonetheless, got to catch your own mistakes. I was actually watching, like, I got to check this rule again, just for the sake of posterity, because I messed up the Spore Mine rules once very badly. and yeah, just gotta cross your T's, all that jazz. Make sure you're actually playing correctly before you start showing up for the big events.
Definitely. And Battlescribe is another one. You can't trust Battlescribe. It's an amazing tool. It helps you build lists, but you got to check the book. I mean, not all of us pay for our books. I know that. PDFs and EPUBs float around the interwebs, but as long as you have the actual GW published rules, double check your list. Some things don't benefit from other things. Like there is a new Dreadnought that's in beta rules for Custodes. Some people think it has a 3-up invul. It's only got a 4-up because it doesn't get the Custodes rule that when it's in a pure Custodes attachment, it gets +1 invul. That's only infantry and bikes, not Dreadnoughts. Even though like Chaos gets their benefits to Dreadnoughts. You just have to see your rules. Like you just have to look at them. Hammerheads cannot do greater good. That's all it is. Double check everything. A lot of times things sound too good to be true, and the way things could be worded makes it so that it doesn't tell me it can't do that. You know that it's going to be FAQ'd otherwise. Don't do that. It's bad sportsmanship. Like when it says clearly one way, but you're going to interpret another way because it says it doesn't say you can't do it that way, that's a dick move. Pure dick move. No one likes dick moves.
Yeah, Cole, make sure you check all the FAQs.
Oh,
that'll certainly get you.
FAQs are huge. I was at a tournament 4 tournaments ago. I was playing the endless horde list because I knew it was going to get FAQ'd. As fact of like not paying reinforcement points, but that's how it was written. There was no like, it doesn't say you can't do that. No, that's how it was actually written. Is you can just keep getting more poxwalkers when your infantry has died. So I was playing that list and got into combat with somebody, and they did not want to actually attack me. They wanted to refuse attacks, and I told them they couldn't do that, and it was in the rules. And they're like, no, it's not, and they called over the TO, and the TO was like, I don't know, I don't think so. And then I had to like pull up the FAQ that showed them, because it wasn't in the actual like most recent FAQ. It was in the designer notes FAQ, where it says everyone must attack in close combat. It's the only time you have to attack. And yeah, it pays to know your rules. Yes, Ice Wolf.
That's not a bad idea, Ice Wolf.
Let a friend check your list also, especially if it's a friend that like you play test it with, because most likely you've practiced with them with that list, so you don't want to cheat your friend either, like Chris does with BioWars.
Like I do with BioWars, which I was playing so wrong, it's ridiculous. Like, good.
Yeah, no, definitely have people check lists. One thing cool is I really love this opportunity to talk on YouTube with Warp Charge Gaming as a whole, because through this community of players, painters, gamers of all types, we played Tabletop Simulator. Well, George did with a guy that just recently moved to Madison, and I just played a tournament in Madison on Saturday. So I reached out to him on our Discord and I said, hey, what's up? There's a tournament out that way. Are you planning on going? He's like, oh, I didn't even know about it. I don't even have 2,000 points. So I reached out to the community, found the guys the rest of the points he needed, and that was his first time ever playing on the actual tabletop. Otherwise, he's only played Tabletop Simulator and built and paint models. So it's the first time he played, and he played a tournament. And I just wanted to give Ben a shout out because that was super cool. Like it gave me warm, fuzzy feelings on the inside that our whole mission of making the community bigger was actually happening on like a IRL version instead of just the internet. So that was pretty cool. And unfortunately, he did play me and Matt, another Warp Charge gamer, and had to bite the bullet. But gotta pay your dues, right?
Yeah, and I mean, that's still like that's a really cool thing to be able to say. Is that like, hey, this dude who I used to play online with, or plays online with that he's never met in person. Yeah, we got him an army and like hung out with him.
Testing.
Hey, is that Cat?
It is.
Awesome. Great to have you.
Thank you.
I'd want to say thank you for such a beautiful model for this month's giveaway. Can you tell us more about that model and like your process of painting, how long it took to paint, the blood, sweat, and tears?
That particular model, I was doing 3 at one time.
Wow.
I was doing 2 Fate Weavers, and I was doing him separately. But so much work had come in, and he was my own model, that I put him aside. Oh, he would be great for a giveaway. So I went ahead and I pulled him out and finished him up.
That's fantastic. I couldn't even imagine painting 3 of those at one time. I definitely would fail that challenge because that is a big bite to take.
Well, I have a little trick I do now is when I do large models for customers, I will buy one model myself at a time. That way I have one to go to the customer and then the one I could either sell or do it for myself or whatever.
Yeah, I have definitely done 2 big models at a time. And same thing. I either keep one for myself or I sell it just because I want to paint that model and I might not want the same color scheme that the customer want. Or maybe I do and I just want to see how fast I can put it out there. But 3 is where I'd be drawing the line, absolutely.
Yeah, the last 2 that I did together were those Mortarions, and those were rough.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Thank you.
I have built 3 of them, but unfortunately I've yet to paint one. I'm very discouraged because of Richard Gray's Mortarion. Just like his work in progress pictures have just discouraged me from wanting to touch that model. I can't even do it justice.
Yeah, sometimes when I look at other people's models, I'm like, oh, mine is such crap.
But they are fantastic and they are not crap.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. I got 2 Morathis that I got to at least start putting together and painting.
Nice.
Nice.
So tell everybody about your...
One's going to be for Chris, so when he plays AOS.
Yes. So tell us about your commission painting. Me and George went back and forth on how we pronounce your commission painting name. So what is the proper pronunciation?
Aptify?
Aptify. We were both off.
Aptify, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been painting... Oh gosh, I've been painting since I was little. I remember getting models for D&D, especially the dragon sets. And I would paint those with enamel paints, you know, the tester's enamels.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This was before I knew what I was doing. And I found the Games Workshop stuff, and I just started playing with those and my painting and tutorials and all that. And then all of a sudden I found out I was doing others. And I'm like, I wonder if I should start doing commission painting, and thinking I'd only get like maybe 1 or 2 jobs. Like,
I was going to say, I feel like for a lot of commission painters, at least I know in the area, one of the biggest challenges is balancing how much work they actually take on.
yeah, I actually have some that I've had to turn away or say I'm not taking any right now because I have so much on the table. Plus, you know, I only do this part-time. I have a farm that I'm running during the day.
Wow. Closest thing I have to a farm is just some chickens.
I raised buffalo.
That's awesome. I imagine that being a very difficult job to do.
They're not fun to work on, I'll tell you that. But I've always played the games. I have a very large Tyranid army, but I've always liked the fantasy aspect, and I'm just, you know me, I'm all about Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. I mean, I love the bugs, but Sigmar models, especially the Forces of Death models, some of my favorites.
Oh yeah, and then they're making AOS more like 40k, believe it or not, from what I've seen with these new rules. So I think they're trying to get people interested in both, and the way that they're changing magic, summoning, command points, everything, it's really, really coming along nice. The stories flowing, and then again the models. I mean, I don't know what GW's doing, but whatever they're doing, it's on point.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing what they're doing with these new models.
I hope for some new model kits, like maybe some plastic super heavies for some of the Xenos armies that don't have them yet.
I think they will. I really, truly think they will. And then there's a lot of whispers and secrets about Slanesh and Fulgrim.
Yes, I've definitely heard that. I'm actually working on some Blastmasters. So it's on my table.
I saw that. I gotta join your Twitch computer. But yeah, I mean, oh gosh, they got so much that they're gonna be doing.
Yeah, I think business model wise, they have to kind of step up their game as far as big kits or unique kits to utilize their craftsman skills as far as the money they have to like make these type of plastic molds, because all these other third-party companies now have amazing miniatures, but they still can't do those big beautiful like Mortarions, Gillimans, things like that. They can all make Space Marines, but they can't make those big beauties.
I totally agree with that. And with 3D printing, it's going to get better.
Oh.
And their competition's going to get a lot stiffer. And there was another company that was doing, I don't want to mention the company, but they were doing like add-ons for like shoulder pads. And they got nailed by GW.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
We definitely know.
Yeah, so GW needs to so GW needs to say, people are interested in that. Maybe we should start making stuff like that.
I can definitely see that down the pipeline, because they are doing that with the Primaris Marines. They all have these upgrade kits.
Actually, speaking of exactly that, that's something I wanted to bring up earlier when we were talking about the Knights is the Knight, and there's that really popular third-party 3D printed for like a Wolf Knight that's been on the market for like almost 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy now has a Custodes, a Blood Angels one, a Death Guard one, a Thousand Suns one, Iron Warriors one. I mean, he makes the custom bits for Knights for all different factions.
So I almost feel like maybe they put this guy in their sights at first with this one, because I'm sure they'll probably add some kind of upgrade sprue or something they can market.
Yeah. There's also that other company, I think they're out of Spain, and they make a lot of female characters, and they do a lot of stuff that it could be used for Sisters of Battle. They've got to get those sisters in plastic because people want them.
Oh, they want them bad.
Yeah, especially an army like that that's already so hard to come by.
Yeah, me and George were at the Adepticon preview show that Wednesday night, and there was a couple people there that really freaked out when they announced that there was plastic sisters, almost like it was Justin Bieber in the room.
Well, I wouldn't freak out about him.
Players have had this one coming for a long time.
You think they're going to do the squats?
Well, I don't, but you know, at the same time, there's also like I hope they don't do the squats because there's so many factions that I would like to see them do instead. Like, for example, Recruit Mercenaries is a big one that comes to mind. You know, like just for Tau. I know there's other, you know, like Loyalist, Space Marine, you know, subchapters, and as well as like Chaos fans and whatnot that don't have content. And I feel like I would rather see that than see squats. At least me personally. I like feeling good that the Tyranids ate them. To be honest, as a Tyranid player, I don't want them to take that away from me.
That's true. That's very true.
Like,
The hive mind. Do you? I was going to ask a question. Totally slipped my mind. Blonde moment. Oh, the Emperor. Do you think the Emperor's going to die and they're going to bring him back, or
man, that is a rabbit hole to jump down.
what? Isn't it?
Like, I don't think they'll be killing off Emperor in the very near future. You know, I could see that maybe depending on how long 8th edition is. If 8th edition's at least, you know, like another full 2 years, I could see them maybe doing that as a reboot into 9th. Time lapse from 7th into 8th. Same time, like we still need more Primarchs back. Like we're not ready yet. Like if it happens now, it's gonna be like, oh god, we're not ready. Chaos is here.
The Battle of Terra.
I mean, it would basically be, you know, like 2 Chaos Demon Primarchs, possibly 3 Fulgrims, the next one to drop.
See,
Oh god, yeah.
my feeling is they're going to finish out these codex, and then there's going to be kind of like the Curse of the Wolfen books, those like expansion books, and I feel that's where we're going to get our Primarchs and our new Abaddon.
They gotta find a home first.
I don't disagree with that.
I know the perfect home for the Space Wolves.
Where's the perfect
Put them on
home?
Pluto. Named after a dog, it's a wolf. Hey, it works.
That's true. Yeah. Cold. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's been so many like speculative like storyline arcs. I still would love to see like a lot of people discussed as soon as 8th dropped. Like there was something that was said kind of vaguely by Games Workshop that made people think Primarch was going to go to Chaos and vice versa, that one Chaos one may come Loyalists. But like, you know, people were just speculating. I mean, I would love to see go crazy and pledge himself to Corrin because he would be almost equally as bloody as Angron, you know? Like,
I definitely don't see any Chaos Primarch going good again, but I can definitely see them corrupting more good Primarchs.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the ones that becomes far-fetched. The only thing I can think of as a possible storyline arc for that would be has that Eldar healing god trapped in his garden. The only thing I could think of that could be a catalyst for that is if like somehow she got loose and like quote unquote healed one of them, but even then that's like
Nah. She's gonna get murdered.
We have a model for, you know.
Definitely gonna get murdered. But I would definitely want to see how they're gonna do a Fulgrim Demon Prince, because that Sisters of Cain model is beautiful. So I would love to see what they're gonna do with Fulgrim.
Absolutely. Fulgrim is, in my opinion, one of the cooler Primarchs, despite the depravity and all that.
I don't see new NIDs happening for quite a long time. Ice Dragon.
And I mean, we're gonna have Gene Stealer come next, which is kind of like Nids, but I don't see us. The only thing that I would kind of like to see on the Tyranid front is if they went through like kind of improved and redid some of the Tyranid Forge world, which is still pretty
Yeah, it's just hard to see it just because the 8th edition drop, they were talking about just the Dark Imperium and how the battle is mainly against Imperium and Chaos, and that the Xenos factions are kind of just there. And it is interesting that Necrons are now getting a Forge World Super Heavy, and it has a weird name. I mean, it's just called Necron Construct. Like, it's like not very creative considering how cool that model looks.
This is a damn cool model.
Oh, it's so awesome. I just can't wait to see how it interacts on the table because it is so big that models can pass underneath it. And if it's not on a base and you have to measure from the hull and you have to be an inch from the base to the hull, like, can you just walk underneath it and not get in combat with it?
That's how people kind of feel about like with the Tyranid Hierophant. Like mine is on a base, but technically it's just these four like legs suspending the whole model.
And then I want to know what its guns are like. Is it like a walking pylon? Or is it more like a Tesseract vault?
Just at least based off the way it looks, I feel it's going to be more like
Yes, Ice Wolf.
almost like assault cannony, like but super heavy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Orcs do need new models, though. They have some very outdated models.
Dragon. I mean, I totally agree. I know there's a lot to be fair. Like as someone who played bugs as early as tail into third, things they've kind of like taken away as upgrades and characters and stuff like that. Cool though. Used to be able to kill stuff in spawn rippers. Definitely need new models. I mean, I think they at least, and it's something George harps on a lot, is like they definitely need a new war boss. I think for the release or like a new Gazgul Thraka model.
I agree. That's going to be a meta-changing codex when that drops. I can't wait.
Oh, absolutely! I'm super excited for orcs. Like, even though I play the cult, I would much rather see orcs almost more than any other codex that's left on the chopping block.
Yeah, I think orcs and knights are going to be the last of the big meta-changing codexes. I think wolves are going to be kind of how Death Watch is. Like, just kind of a supplement codex where most people are not going to take a full wolf army. They're going to end up taking a detachment of wolves into their guard army, most likely. So for the actual meta changers, it's going to be orcs, because that's a full codex, a lot of close combat, but you can still go super shooty. You can go super MSU, or more appropriately, horde. And then there's knights, because it's just so massive and everyone has access to them. So I just see those two codexes being the absolute meta changers. And then everything like Gene Stealers are just kind of fall in there.
I mean, I really don't want the night rumors to be true.
Dude, I heard I heard the craziest rumor at a tournament. So I didn't even see the source of this, but they were talking about how this like Super Knight is gonna have this one gun that's like strength 16, and it's get like 10 shots or something like that, and it has like huge range on it, and it's basically just destroying stuff because it has like flat 10 damage or something. I have no idea.
What?
I just heard this crazy rumor, like I said. It was just this massive cannon of a gun on like a Super Knight. There's only like actual unofficial GW rumors I've seen with like credible sources are all like their house factions, or like their little bonuses and getting heroic intervention and their points drops. This whole new gun on the Super Knight, I hope it's a bad rumor, because anything
I'd like
that
to see at least one or two
does
new weapons.
flat 10 damage, it's just too gross to be shooting.
No kidding.
Like, what would you do? Like, all your big bugs are gone. You don't get to play.
Even the 14 wound ones, it's just like, hey, okay, I hope only one wound connects out of the
Yeah. Doesn't make sense to me.
At that kind of price point, that thing would have to be, like a Titanic price pointed model for it to be reasonable.
Yeah. I don't even know what Ghost Knights are. Cole's mentioned Ghost Knights. What are Ghost Knights?
Dragon and Ghost Knights, I'm not familiar. I don't know if that's like a chapter, like a splinter chapter. Like a sub-founding of the Grey Knights. And Ice Wolf, not that canon on the construct or whatever. That's specific to a night rumor James had heard.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a word of mouth rumor, so like there was no like actual substance to it. That's the fun thing about rumors. You don't know if they're true or not. Kind of like conspiracies. So, Chris,
I mean, yeah.
we managed to make it an hour even after our technical difficulties. What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm glad that we stuck through it, even though it was something kind of ridiculous as far as choosing the right email.
Yeah. But we even tried that. So, like, we had to try other things. And then we tried choosing the right email again. And then we had the sound
I
problem.
messed up.
Yeah, same Ice Wolf. Those are the only ones I've seen on the internet, too, is the house rumors. Like I said, it was a word-of-mouth rumor that was all crazy. People like talking. But, is there anything you're going to add, Chris, before we sign out?
No, man. I mean, I'm painting my Shadespire models and George's, having a good time with Nerdship.
You ready for the tournament?
I am not, but I'm going to make sure George is, since I'm painting his models. And, his are first on my block. And I'm gonna try to give this game a little bit of extra love, since, like, project where it's like paint 5 models for the whole game.
Dude, Chris, you got to do some justice on them. Paint them as if you were me.
Exactly. I'm going to try to channel my inner James and my inner Cat simultaneously.
Dude, all you got to use is 5 colors for every color.
I think we're going to have a painting contest for Shadespire for that tournament, too. The more I'm thinking about it, I think I want one to encourage people to paint them.
Nice, nice, nice.
And that trophy from GW is awesome.
Yeah, that's the second one they said. I'm hoping they're going to do one every quarter. Have a Shadespire tournament like that all the time.
Yeah, because I would almost play that game for a trophy like that.
You should. Then you can play AOS with us.
Yeah, no, not happening.
You paint that
Join the cool
model.
kids.
Well, I think it's about that time for us. We have our Orb Charge Gaming presents with Battlegrounds Battle in the Warp at Gallery 5 in Richmond, Virginia. That's June 24th. It's only $20 to get in. We got prize support, gonna have trophies. Has a bar, so that's like the most important thing about any tournament, in my opinion.
No kidding.
And and we're gonna have some more Shadespire coming up. We have the best giveaway going on right now, as far as any giveaways I've seen in the 40k world. As far as all you have to do is like something or view something, you get 7 ways to enter, and you can win a wonderful Lord of Change by Kat, who's here with us on Discord. And until next week, like and subscribe. Catch you guys later.
Yeah, and enter that giveaway. It's a cool model, guys.